After living in India for over a year and a half, we are making a new bold move.
This has been a crazy move. A lot of my friends have actually laughed when I mentioned this. They're like, you're going through midlife crisis.
In this video, me and my husband Josh will talk about our new life plans. My name is Agnes, accountant by profession and YouTuber by passion. Without further ado, let's dive into today's video. So Josh, you just came back from the UK and you also went somewhere else. Let's review this in a minute, but just briefly tell us how long you went for and how was your trip?
So guys, I was away for 26 days. I went to UK for work-related reason as well as leisure. So I was somewhere else in Europe as well. It was really good, amazing. Weather was fantastic. Chai was fantastic, very clean as normal, organized as normal. Food was good. Enjoyed my stay there.
And you brought us loads of presents, didn't you? Like we did want a lot of food from you and some goodies, so we have got a video where we're showing just how much you brought. You had 2 luggages and yeah, they were stacked with food and loads of goodies, right?
So I bought a lot of stuff from there. The reason that those chocolates, those particular goods, either they're not available in Indore or they are very expensive. So for example, a chocolate orange, that was Terry's orange, yeah. In Indore, in a shop we've been, Urban Grocers was another one. They cost about 600 to 700 rupees one, and in England they cost about 125 rupees. So you see the difference. I bought a lot of stuff from there because it was cheaper for me to bring stuff from there, and also I guess most of the stuff is original, or it's from there, or some of the stuff like sausages and stuff we can't get hold of here. So that's what kids like.
Right, and as we mentioned, Josh also went to Europe. Do you want to tell us where did you go in Europe and why did you go to this place particularly?
Right, so this has been a crazy move. A lot of my friends have actually laughed when I mentioned this. They're like, you're going through midlife crisis. Don't know what's going on with you, and they were asking why I was there. So I went to a country called Portugal, or also known as Portugal. In India, it's known in many different ways. Pronunciations are different. So I was there. I found out through a friend that so many Indians are actually going to Portugal or Portugal rather than England or any other country. So I was wondering why that was the case. So came to find out that a lot of Indians are going there. Either they're going as laborers to work on the farms, or they are actually migrating there because you get a visa quite easily, especially people from Goa. But they also made it easier for everyone else. So I went with my friend to check this place out, and I met Indians everywhere. To be honest, I was really surprised. So I went down south. It's a place called Algarve, so Faro, Albufeira and Lagos. So these down south are known as Algarve. Believe me guys, when I say I was out from the day, I was out in the evening, and I met so many Indians that you can get by speaking Hindi, Punjabi. There are, I think, majority of workers are there from Haryana, speak really well Hindi. And the reason again is easy access to Europe. So what lots of people do there, they go there illegally or legally. Once they get their permit, they'll go and work in Germany, France or UK.
Okay, but you still haven't told us, why did you go there? Like what's happening in Portugal? You obviously have some reasons for you even going there.
Yes, so I actually thought maybe it sounds like I'm chasing Indians. There are not enough in India. So it's an opportunity again. I love being in the UK, but the life there is quite hectic. I'm now 42 and I think it's better for me to kind of settle down somewhere, and I don't quite find UK as being my home. Yeah, so I went to Portugal, work related. I was thinking that we should move there. Mainly because the weather. Now the salary is not great in Portugal compared to UK. However, the life quality is much better. 10 months in a year, the weather's fantastic. So life itself is quite slow paced. People are very friendly, and it's quite multicultural. A lot of Indians moving there. So now they're making small mandirs and gurdwaras everywhere. So it's just nice to see a community settling there. And I've been there for over a week, and I met some solicitors, I met legal advisors, and I just thought, it's so easy to move for Indians as well as Europeans, and it's a good opportunity for us to shift there. Now, I have decided to go into farming, and I'm looking for a farm to move so we can have a nice big farmhouse as well as produce agricultural goods, because again the weather is really good and Europe is stone throw away, so it's quite easy to sell and there are many grants available there.
Are we planning to move from India then? You want to share the lights on why we no longer want to stay here and when we possibly are moving?
Yes, my India dream has come to a crash. It's, to be frank, I just cannot relate to the environment and I cannot get mixed in the car. I always thought, I was Indian by heart and I want to be in my country, I want to be in my home. But after being here, seeing how things are operated by the government, how things are, the infrastructure, I just don't want to bring my children in this environment, to be honest. And it doesn't mean I'm less Indian if I'm not inside India. I can still teach my children the value, the culture. Being here 2 years is a great thing. My children always know, India is part of their home and their culture, but it's just not a place I want to raise my children, especially with everything going on. It's a great, fast-moving economy, but doesn't mean jack. It's still a bit of a mess here. And I think maybe 10, 20 years down the line, if things get better, maybe we will reconsider. But at the moment, I just think that Europe is much more cleaner. Food quality is much higher than here. India is advanced in education, don't get me wrong, but if you're going for private education. But in Europe, I guess education is not bad. I have been back to UK and I went to Portugal, and I realized that what we're missing, it's just we are not getting it here.
You didn't mention when exactly are we planning to move, or is this not settled yet?
Right, we are leaving India, that's for sure. Whether we will go to Portugal or we go to England, that's another matter. Now, I am looking for a property in Portugal. It has to be a farm. I'm not sure about location. I'm still trying to understand the ins and outs of that business. However, if that doesn't work out, then most likely we will shift back to England, and I'm not really happy to move back to England because the weather is awful, the quality of life is awful, and everything's just super expensive, guys. And if we end up moving to Portugal, trust me, we're going to post lots of videos on how people from here can actually move to Europe. I was mind blown to see how easy it is actually move to Europe. People here are paying 20, 30 lakhs to get to Europe. It does not cost that much money, and Portugal has made it so easy. They're struggling with labor. So what's the situation there? People are going to Portugal, using it as a gateway. Salaries are not great, so they're only trying to get their work permit. And once they get their work permit to work in Schengen zone, 7 months, 8 months, that's all they need to be there. Then they pack their bags and they go to Germany, they go to France, they go to England for a better work and more money. And this is a vicious circle, keeps on happening, and lots of shopkeepers there are struggling. So what they do, they sponsor people from here to work, and the government allows for you to actually sponsor someone to bring in for a year on a work permit. So we are hoping that if we end up going to Portugal, we will sponsor many Indians from India to come and work in Portugal, and we will give many, probably hundreds of Indians, opportunity to actually make a better living in Europe.
And just in case you guys are wondering, I'm obviously on board with the plan. Some of you must be thinking Josh is just dragging me and the kids along. It's not the case. We obviously sit down and discuss things together and try to come to understanding and agree on things. So this is also something that I'm willing to do. And again, Josh mentioned we're going to be posting a lot of videos from Portugal as well to keep you up to date. So just because we're not in India, Josh is still Indian, we're still family, trying to raise our kids in the best possible way and in the best possible environment. I just have one question, Josh, for you. What do you think would be the biggest adjustment for us if we move from India to Portugal? Because we haven't yet been to Portugal, we've been to UK, but it's a little bit different. So what do you think would be the biggest adjustment?
The biggest adjustment or hurdles or a challenge would be the language, especially for children. It's not a big issue for me because I will go by with English and I'll learn the basic of Portuguese. However, for my children to adjust into Portuguese school, that will be very difficult. If we were to put them private international schools, that's very expensive and we will not be able to put all three in that case. Anjali is doing online education, homeschooling with Birla Academy. Awesome, so far so good. So I'm hoping that she will resume that, and that way it's easier for her to adjust there. However, for Arjun and Jay, it might be a little difficult to be in different environment, but they're still young. I'm hoping that they will, they will adjust. I am really good salesman. I have sold my wife India and drop of a hat, she was here, and I've sold her Portugal. Drop of a hat, she's whizzing to Portugal, and I think if push comes to shove, I'll convince her to go to Somalia, and she'll be like, I'll just show her that, dream, how beautiful things are there, and she's just like, okay, let's go. Anyway, so yes, mainly, guys, it's for a better life. I looked at the life there and just thought, having a farm, having a farmhouse, kind of getting, nitty gritty, managing yourself, growing your own stuff, on produce, and helping the community. It's my life. I think this is what it's all about. I'm not money greedy. I'm not looking to count my millions. All I want is a quality life for me and my family. A happy, good life. So I hope that Portugal is the country, and that will be our final destination. If we end up moving to Portugal, it doesn't matter how rough, how bad it will get, we will remain there, and we will manage them, have to manage there, and we will not move, no matter what happens.
What about the visa situation? Are we needing visa? And how will you get there? What sort of situation with visa? What passports do you have to allow you to go to Portugal seamlessly? Because it's not so easy for Indian residents to actually get there.
Well, I'm not Indian resident, first of all. I am a British passport holder, and my wife is Polish, which is European passport holder. The rules are slightly different for European than the English. However, there is so much English tourism, and they want the English money there. They made it so easier for English people to settle there. It's literally just going there, a few documents, bish, bosh, bosh, 2 days down the line, you get ID. I have met illegal immigrants, Indians who have moved there. They have got their junta, which is one of the national ID card, and there's another one, there's two of them. They get there, they open the bank account, and once that's done, they then go on the 5 years visa plan. So once they've been there 5 years, they get their visa. I will go in depth and just explain to you guys later on how easy it is for Indians to go there. And Portugal is a lovely country, guys. Okay, the salary is not the best, but it is, I believe, much better place than India.
I must say that although I have settled in India quite well, I have had quite a few experiences with people work related, and I will cover this in a whole video because there are many things that really bug me when it comes to working with people and people exploiting people and things like that. Again, I'll cover this in the next video. All I wanted to mention is that we have made the decision and we're going to have to go with it, and life is about taking risk, and if you don't take risk, you don't know what's on the other side. And they do say grass is always greener on the other side, but if you don't go and check it out, you're not going to know yourself.
Many will criticize us on our decision. Many, actually, when I say, I don't say India is an awful country. I don't say it's a bad country. Again, I am Indian. I always be Indian, no matter where I go. First thing, when I was in Portugal, they look at me, they're like, Indian, Hindustani? They say everywhere I go. Poland, Hinduski, I can't not change who I am. But I hope that India can change the way things are and that people can understand. People say it's such a great country, it's this and that and that. You have to be honest with yourself. The government has to be honest with themselves. You think 90%, at least of 90% of Indians, if they were given a European passport today, I swear to God, they will leave tomorrow morning. First flight, they'll be out of here. If I'm wrong, do tell me that you're wrong. Unless you are millionaire here, India, you have a business, you got things working out, fair play, good on you. But majority in poverty are struggling and they will leave. So India should be a country where that should not be the case. You never get reverse migration. You don't get Europeans wanting to come and work here and live here. Well, you Indians want to go to Europe and work there. So India has a long way to go. India is, if you are Indian, you've been to Europe, you can clearly see India is 100 years behind Europe, and the people who have never left India are brainwashed by media. You don't know what you have and what you don't have.
Thank you so much for this, Josh. We've already covered quite a lot in this video. I want to mention that on the 8th of September, which is a month after we did the last live show, which I covered last myself, Josh will be online with you live, and you're going to get opportunity to ask loads of questions related to the trip and to whatever you want to ask him. He will be by himself. I may just start off with, he doesn't even know that yet, but I was planning to actually sit Josh in front of you guys, So you can all ask questions. If you want to do it in Hindi, you can do so, because Josh can speak fluently Hindi, I can't. And some of you have actually requested Hindi spoken sessions. So Josh will be with you guys on the 8th of September. If you're watching that past 8th of September, you can rewatch the live show that we have it on demand for you to watch. In the meantime, we're checking out with you guys. We've got loads of videos from wherever we've been. We've been to many countries before, and loads places in India, actually 10 states we visited so far. And we're still planning to travel even more around India while we're here. Make the most out of it. We're checking out with you guys, and I'll see you on the next video or live show. And in the meantime, if you want to watch another video, there's a library full of it. I invite you to see some of it. See you soon.